And here to discuss government's poverty eradication measures, we have with us via Zoom Undersecretary Paterna Ruiz of the National Anti-Poverty Commission. Welcome to the Big Story, Undersecretary Ruiz.
Good evening. Thank you very much.
Ma'am, before anything else, just so we all know we're all talking about the same thing, how do we define poverty incidence at this point, and what are the factors that go into that calculation?
Well, after the pandemic, the rise and peak of the pandemic, our poverty, meaning to say the deprivation of the poor people of the 10 basic needs, because our economy was really affected during the pandemic. And it goes only to show that we have to strengthen our backbone of our economy, and that is agricultural development. And second is we have to the development of the economy should reach to the rural areas, not only to urban and town centers. And we have the importation of the emergency goods reflected that we have really something is lacking with our economic development. So that is how I see it on how COVID-19 has really affected the poverty threshold and the poverty indicators, wherein the rate of poverty have engulfed a large portion of our population.
Ma'am, given what has happened in the past 2 to almost 3 years, I mean, these numbers are kind of expected, but what are our plans in the short term and in the long term to be able to aid those who lost their jobs during the pandemic, as well as to be able to reach the 9% target until 2028?
On our part, as the main institution in government that will really plan on the reduction and towards the poverty eradication of our country, immediately we have institutionalized already the 4Ps program, that is, and the unconditional cash transfer. We have to do this in order to tie us over. With zero or nothing, we should help the poor in that. And it could be a baseline wherein they can start some small economic activities. The second is we have to control the rise of food prices, because accessibility is an important part of the intervention. Our poor people should have access to food. And the third is we have to increase, we have to strengthen our agricultural economy, the restructuring of our priorities in economic development. It should not be urban-centered. It should distribute to rural areas wherein there will be a dynamic relationship between all sectors, from the rural areas and in the urban areas, strengthen our economic value chain. And I think that is the strategy in the long term.
Ma'am, it was reported that the poverty threshold for this particular report is now at a little more than 12,000 pesos. This is for a household, a family of up to 5. What does the 12,030 pesos actually mean? What does it stand for in terms of the basic needs that we assume are being met at that level?
That is really low. That is why we call it poverty threshold. It is a threshold wherein, if you start earning like 12, that you are in danger in going down. And that is also your plan on how to go up. How can we survive? For the rural areas, the 12,000 is good enough. no? Because the cost of living is very low. The big challenge is in our urban areas, no, on how they will survive, especially that you have to rent, to buy electricity, to the house, the rent of the houses, then the food, children going to school. In the rural areas, you have just to walk. Here, you just have to ride. And so there will be really a difference. So the challenge is more in the urban areas. That is how I think, no? But, no, let us not be complacent on that, no? We have to increase income, no? Since our poverty is being measured on the poverty threshold, when we are on a cash economy, let poverty reduction initiative should have that perspective in our poverty initiatives.
Usec, you mentioned urban areas. Speaking of that, NCR has the lowest poverty incidence, while BARM or BARMM has the highest poverty incidence. But with that comparison, we can't forget how BARM also had the sharpest decline in terms of poverty incidence. What are some learnings there, opportunities that you've seen that we can possibly apply in other rural areas?
The BARM area, as we have observed, is that the problem of conflict, no? And during the PRRD administration, the challenge on conflict management has really gone down. So in terms of economic production, we have to strengthen that, have to initiate how the economy of the BARM territory will help in the reduction of our poverty. For the urban, like Metro Manila, the threshold is different. It is because cash is always there. So, meaning to say that for me, the greatest challenge for me in order to survive is in the urban areas. But we have to ensure that the basic sectors in our rehabilitation at this moment should be upscaling in their role in the economic development of the rural areas. Investors are also needed. Capital is needed. Technology is needed. If we want mechanization, we have to put it in the countryside for increase in our food production. So the right track of the Department of Agriculture in terms of boosting agricultural development, production, the marketing, and everything in the value chain, we are going in the right track. And some other rural areas, especially that our basic sectors are living in the rural areas, and these areas, the sectors, the bulk of our population are in there. So we have to, and I appreciate very much the strategies now and the many new programs that the Department of Agriculture has been planning to initiate the dynamics of our economic development based on the fundamental food sufficiency. Never will be like developed if our country, or our countrymen are hungry. So we have to seek and achieve the goal on food sufficiency.